the energy sent much more easily received. It is like calling the attention of a person with whom you wish to speak. Naturally, your first impulse is, if you are going to speak to one of the family, you first say Don, Mary, or Dick to get his attention, and then you proceed to give your message. So it is when directing the energy silently. Within the inner world, in this recognition and this I am present, knowing that I am everywhere present, you see how you may speak to one across the earth through the I am presence, as readily as though that would still be with your physical presence. I warn you, if you attempt to use this knowledge to harmonize, then remember that through your own soul and body you pass the bolt, or your intent to another. Try always to remember that you are not human beings so-called, but you are gods and goddesses in embryo, which through the conscious effort you can bring into full dimension. I say to you, beloved students of light, arise, awaken to the fullness of your God and me. Fearlessly use the conscious knowledge and direction of this mighty I am energy for your freedom, prosperity, blessing, and enlightenment. Each of you is a glittering, dazzling jewel of light projected into a world of chaos and darkness. That the radiance of your light may expand, and again expand. That all darkness of the earth be consumed in this mighty radiance of the I am presence which you are. I am, can, and will manifest its dominion.
All right,
George. And I tell you with no uncertainty, it can be maintained, ever growing greater and greater in the comprehension of that God presence and its supreme power divine love. Every student should remember with definite certainty that in this quickening power of the I am presence, within his being, everything good or otherwise is stirred into action. If there is latent within that conscious rebellion, resentment, or the inclination to judge, it means that all this will be stirred and brought to the surface to be consumed. And I tell you with no uncertainty, unless the student consciously consumes that which is brought forth to the surface, it will consume him. If one finds himself becoming irritated, he should seize the reins and issue an epitaph through the I am presence and declare that this be governed harmoniously. Here, let me again remind the student.
And then also, Joris, this kind of sloppiness here, even though the gasket covers it, okay, I'm still going to clean that up a bit better. And the frame, this frame right here that the gasket goes on, it was too far away from the door to get a good seal, so I'll bring that closer to the quarter panel right there, so when the door shuts it'll be more flush up against the gasket right there. Okay, yeah, it's just details matter, and it just seems a lot of details. Okay, see ya.
Rapturous ecstasy, reverence, intelligence, love. It is all that the earth can demonstrate, but on a scale beyond your even remotest conception. Trying to take into your consciousness the meaning of the two focal paragraphs, understanding and making meaning your very own, will change your whole perspective of your divine origin and of existence itself. In these paragraphs directly above, I have described to you the nature and essence of life, which comes into action within the sperm and ovum when they are united and giving form to a child. This is your truth, your reality, your soul, psyche, your deepest state of being. Instinctively, you are aware of this. The baby is the embodiment.
See, it's a lot better now. I've been pounding on the metal very lightly, a lot of little small blows, just to smooth it down a bit.
According to genetic instructions, in its present form. What is the difference between the soul and the psyche? I am now going to explain the difference which your earthly psychologist made us.
It's a lot better, Joris. A lot better. It's coming. Okay, Joris. You're looking at huge progress right here. The good thing is I did nothing to the quarter panel except shave it down a little bit in the gap. And the shaving down area did exactly what I thought it would do. It exposed the seam. So along the seam, I'm going to have to weld it up and then sand it down. So part of this gap in the quarter panel will have to be addressed and fixed. Still has that little gap in there right by the 6 on the ruler, but I'm going to check that on the other Alfa Romeo. But just giving it an initial look down like this, it's much better than it used to look. When you were here last week, this is much better right there. Okay? All right, thanks. See you. Hey Doris, I got the 1500 yesterday. Thank you very much. I want you to see your door skin right now. Notice the oil canning effect. I know how to fix this. I have some shrinking discs, and you can look it up on Google or YouTube, shrinking discs, and I'm going to remove all this filler. And I'm going to shrink this door skin. Shrink it so it's tighter, so it doesn't do this anymore. And that'll result in the entire skin pulling in a little bit, assisting in fixing these gaps. Or not the gaps, but in assisting in fixing the fit, how it's bowing out some. Make that nice and flat, just like the Alfa Romeo is supposed to be. Just want to let you know that, okay? See ya. So George, I'm just getting all this paint Bondo off, and I'm gonna sand the whole door down, and then I'm gonna put the shrinking disc on it and shrink it up. So there's none of that, and there's none of that. Yep, that means the skin is too big, so it'll be shrunk, and it'll pull in tighter, and it will be more flat. And here, I sanded down the quarter, and to allow the panel to break it apart. So I pulled it out about 2 millimeters, and I'm going to reaffix it I'm going to put a copper backing plate all the way in here, and then build up this broken weld or this seam, and then sand it down. So the gap is just like that. So I will have to cut this down a little bit more, weld it up, and then sand it down so I get a good even gap like that one. Also, notice right here how it looks like it's like a hole. I don't know why that is. I never noticed that until now. So between these lines, I'm going to weld in some material here on the door and here on the corner. And let's go look at the other side. Clearly these gaps are too tight here. Now looking at it from here, the shadow fills in more. But you get up on it closely, you can see that it just needs to be opened up a bit, this gap. And you can see right here how there's not a hole on this like there is on that side. But also this needs to be trimmed to meet this gap right there. The gap right there at the end of my finger is proper. It needs to be carried down into here. And the door is just a bit high there. I think maybe the quarter, I can do on this quarter what I did on that one. Just cut that seam down a bit, pull it out a bit, and it should match. So that's what's going on here Saturday. We just talked on the phone a few moments ago. Again, I'm sorry this is going through this. This should not have to happen, but it has to get the car right. So I'm just being, very communicative with you about this and telling you everything that's going on. Okay, bye-bye, Doris.